As a parent, you've been told more is better, more therapy sessions, more specialists, more interventions. You're running from speech therapy to OT therapy. You're going from feeding therapy to behavior therapy, and maybe you're even adding in supplements, dietary changes, and sensory tools as well. But what's really heartbreaking is despite all the effort, all the time, all the investment, your progress with your child feels so slow. And sometimes you feel like you've even stalled out completely and you're left wondering, what are we missing? Why isn't this working for them? And here's the truth most doctors won't tell you. Your child doesn't need more therapies. They need the right foundation to work off of in the first place. So if you're an exhausted parent and you feel like you are doing everything right, but you also feel like you're pushing a car up a hill with a parking brake on, if you're tired of more and more interventions without seeing the breakthroughs you were promised, then today's video is for you. Because every single week in our office, we meet parents who are running themselves into the ground. They're managing 4, 5, sometimes 6 different therapy appointments every single week. They've tried elimination diets, they've tried supplements, they've tried countless other tools, and they're doing it all out of love for their child. But if we ask them, has anyone ever evaluated your child's nervous system? The answer is almost always no. And research shows that nearly 1 in 6 children today has a developmental disability. Now that's millions of families that are stuck in the exact same cycle. They're chasing symptoms, they're adding interventions, but they never get to address the foundation that controls everything else for their child's health, and that's the nervous system. If we put it in a different context, if you were trying to build a house, if you had a cracked foundation with all these different cracks running through it, well, obviously it doesn't matter how beautiful the paint is or how expensive the furniture is, or really how perfect the design is. Everything's going to keep shifting, settling, and falling apart. And that's exactly what happens when we keep adding therapy after therapy without addressing the nervous system's foundation first. Our nervous system is the foundation. It functions like the air traffic controller of the entire body. It handles our child's speech, movement, their digestion, their sleep, which is their immune response, their ability to regulate their emotions and behavior. They are all foundationally rooted in the nervous system. And when that foundation is stressed, it's stuck, and it's dysregulated, every other thing you add is working uphill and adding resistance. And it's not that those therapies don't work. It's that they can't handle or they can't do their full job when the foundation isn't stable in the first place. What's really even harder is most parents are never told this. They're just told add more, try more, do more. But no one stops to ask, is the nervous system even ready to handle all of this in the first place? And a common question we get asked is, well, how does a child's nervous system become stressed in the first place? Now, in our office, we refer to this as the perfect storm. Now, this is a combination of stressors that pile up early in life, sometimes even before the child is born. When we're dealing with prenatal stress, that's really that first layer. When mom has a very stressful pregnancy, and it can be physical, emotional, it can be chemical, that stress is going to travel through the umbilical cord and it's going to directly impact the baby's developing nervous system. Then comes the birth process. Now, even in a normal, natural birth, there is stress put on the baby's delicate spine and nervous system. But if we add interventions like inductions and epidurals and C-sections, the stress only intensifies. Studies now show that 90% of newborns have some level of spinal misalignment after birth. Now, speaking of after birth, that storm only continues. When a child deals with early illnesses, they have multiple rounds of antibiotics, they deal with reflux and ear infections, and we have environmental toxins, along with constant screen exposure. The pressure of endless developmental expectations is only going to intensify that stress response. Each stressor adds another crack to that foundation. And by the time parents notice the delays or they realize their child is struggling, the nervous system is already showing all the signs of being overwhelmed and being stuck in that stress mode where we don't have the ability to regulate, we can't coordinate the systems together, and they are crucial to the development that we need to happen. Now, here's where things get tricky, and this is where most parents are going to feel so guilty, and they really shouldn't. It's that a child's nervous system that's already overloaded, when you add more therapies, you feel like you're plugging in too many devices at once. Oftentimes, I refer to this as opening up too many browser windows on the computer. It's really going to slow things down. The computer might shut down. There might be a little bit of a reboot. And this is why your child sometimes looks like they're progressing at first, and then they hit a wall. And it's why their therapy sessions are becoming harder and not easier, why you're seeing meltdowns increase, why sleep's getting worse, and behavior constantly seems to be regressing. It's not that your child can't do it, and it's not that that therapy is wrong. It's that their nervous system doesn't have the capacity to process it all because the foundation they're working on is still in a cracked state. And here's the part that really breaks our heart. Parents blaming themselves. They think, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe if I add one more thing. But the reality is the problem is never that you weren't doing enough. It's that you were building on an unstable foundation in the first place. Now, we believe that we're hope dealers in our practice, and here's the hopeful part, and this is something we get to see every single day in our office, is when we use neurologically focused chiropractic care to restore balance and regulation to the nervous system, everything changes for these kids. We use our advanced insight scans to measure exactly where the nervous system is stuck in stress mode, and then through our gentle, precise adjustments, we release that tension and restore the body's ability to regulate, heal, and adapt the right way. And here's what parents are then telling us. Parents who are doing speech therapy, all of a sudden it clicks for their child. They start putting words together. They're following directions. They're engaging more in school. Children who are doing occupational therapy, it becomes easier. Their sensory challenges calm down. Their motor skills improve. Their coordination becomes better. And for those kids that are doing feeding therapy, their digestion starts to regulate because the vagus nerve is activated and their body can finally process food without that stress response. The biggest category we see an improvement in is sleep. And when we have good sleep, we get an immune system that is strengthened. We're going to see behavior stabilize, meltdowns decrease. Guys, it's not magic, it's just neurology. And when you're working on a stable foundation, everything built on top of it finally has a chance to work the way it was supposed to. So if you're an exhausted parent, if you're running from therapy to therapy, if you feel like adding more isn't really showing you the changes you were looking for, and if you're ready to stop chasing symptoms and start addressing the foundation of what's happening, we're here to help. Our team at Pure Chiropractic in Livonia, Michigan specializes in neurologically focused chiropractic care for kids and for families. We don't replace what you're already doing, we unlock it to maximize its benefit. Your child doesn't need more interventions. They need the right foundation in the first place. Click the link in our bio, send us a DM to schedule your child, and let's help your child's nervous system shift from stress to strength so everything else you're doing can finally work like it was supposed to. Your family deserves hope and answers. Let's start that healing journey for your child today. We'll see you soon.